Okay, here we go. Video number 2. Again, I had to do my 5-second rule before I hit this button. So I'm going to talk about how I started with Nerium and why I'm doing this. Now, when I first got approached, it wasn't actually about the business itself. My girlfriend came to me and asked me what I thought about network marketing. She's never done it before, and she was approached about the business and she wanted to know what I thought of it. My first initial reaction was turn around and run. Don't do it. You don't know what it's about. You're probably going to have to put in a lot of money into it. You're going to be overwhelmed. You don't know what you're getting into. Just don't do it. Run. But then I said, you know what? You need to really research it. If this is something that you're considering, don't just jump into it. Really research the company, the information, the product, that kind of stuff. But I said, if that was me, I wouldn't do it. And that was kind of it. Shortly after that, my mom passed away. So it was really hard for me. I really closed myself off from a lot of things. I threw myself into work and my kids. So basically, I worked constantly, and if I wasn't working, I was with my girls, pretending to be strong. I didn't do a lot of stuff outside of work. Wasn't eating, wasn't sleeping, so things were pretty dark. I avoided pretty much everybody. My girlfriend, not just about the business part of it, but she tried to get me to come out and do stuff and wanted me to go with her to some of these events that she was doing, or going to not just to see the business part of it, but she was trying to get me out of the house because I was pretty much hibernating. I didn't want to see people. I didn't want to talk to people. And I certainly didn't want to talk about any kind of business stuff. That was for sure. So a little time went by, and I pretty much ignored everybody. I think it was about March, and I was driving out of my cul-de-sac and she was driving in. I had no choice but to roll down my window because she stopped right beside me. So I rolled down my window and I looked at her and I went, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" I said, "Did you have plastic surgery done to your face?" And she just laughed and she said, "No." She says, "It's the cream I'm using." She says, "It's amazing. I love it." And so we couldn't sit there very long because she had to go pick up her girl. And she says, "But I love the cream." She says, "It's never done. I've never had anything like this." She says, "I love what I'm doing." She says, "You need to come see this." She says, "I need to tell you about it." But she says, "But I know you don't use creams," and I don't. Obviously, I never have. I'm not a cream girl. I love my son. I don't even use sunscreen. You didn't hear that. But she says, "There's something that's coming that I think you really need to hear about." And she says, "But you need to come out with me. We need to go for coffee. We need to go. I haven't seen you in forever. I miss you, and we need to go for coffee." So I said, "You know what? Let me just." I said, "Call me later. We'll talk about it." That was my kind of get out of it, right? Like, I still wasn't crazy about talking to anybody about anything. But you know what? She didn't give up. And I was really happy for her that she didn't listen to me and run, because she looked amazing. So whatever she was using, it was working. It looked like she took 10 years off her life. Her skin was glowing. She had no makeup on, and she looked absolutely stunning. It was just beautiful. So I thought, great. Obviously what she was using was working, and the cream was beautiful. She looked happy, which was even better. So she didn't give up on me. She still kept on asking. So we finally did go for coffee. So she actually introduced me to EHT. EHT wasn't here yet, and it wasn't coming till April. So we had about a month, because we went for coffee shortly after that. And she talked to me about EHT a little bit and what it did, and And it was a little overwhelming for me at first because I thought, seriously, this is something that there's no way. I never thought, um, didn't think everything she was telling me was, I wasn't sure. So she said, well, research it, look into these things. So I wrote some things down, and that's what I did. I actually looked up the Brain Warrior, and I looked into EHD, I looked into Jeffrey Stock, and I went, wow, I sure did not know that concussions had such an impact on how a person changes when your brain suffers like that. How the damage can cause so much in a person. So I started doing more and more research. I started learning a lot about the effects of concussions and the brain damage. And not even that, I started learning a lot more about depression and how that can damage your brain. There's so much to learn. I was absolutely overwhelmed about what happens. So I thought, because there's a lot of that in my household, I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this. I didn't care that much for the cream to start with. It wasn't anything that I was really interested in. I'm not a cream girl. I never used creams for anything. I washed my face, but that was it, if even that, sometimes, to be honest. I never used I never even used sunscreen outside. I did on my kids, crazy as that is. I made sure they used sunscreen, but for myself, I never barely used sunscreen. So I wasn't that crazy about the cream. It wasn't anything that that wasn't what I was going for, but the EHT I was going, wow, okay, I need to have this. I think we all need to have this. So I gave her a shout and I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. So I signed up, waiting for EHT to come. It wasn't coming till April, but I thought, I'm doing it now. You know what? I might as well do it. There was a conference that was coming in April, and I thought, should I go? Shouldn't I go? I wasn't sure. And then one of our uplines, Damon, said, you know what? You have to be there. You'll learn so much. You'll learn so much information. You'll just get so much out of it. It's important to go. So I did. Best thing you could do is go to the conference. You'll learn so much. You'll get so much out of a conference. It's one of the 10 core commitments that the company has, and it's worth every penny if you go. And it really doesn't cost you that much to go, and it really is worth it. So I actually wound up getting a box of EHT while I was at conference and brought it home with me. So I was absolutely glad I did. It's made a huge difference. We all now take it. My husband was the first one to start with. He's taking it. He's doing amazing with it. He's had concussions, and he's had a brain bleed where actually had a hole in his brain, and his amniotic fluid was leaking out of the brain, and he was causing him so much pain. It took them a year actually to figure out what was wrong. He had extreme headaches. He'd sit up, and the fluid would leak out, and you can't even imagine the pain he was having. So they did a blood patch, and it did patch it up, but the headaches didn't completely go away. So he's doing much better. It's done wonders. So there's more to it. So he's doing amazing, and it's absolutely the best thing anybody could take. If you can swallow a pill, you should be taking EHD. I'm extremely passionate about it. There's so many testimonials out there that are coming in that would make you cry listening to them. So if if you think you need it, or if you think that it would benefit you, I would 100% tell you try it. It's 30-day money back guarantee. It won't hurt you. If anything, it would help. It would do it. It's worth $1 million, like more. You should take it. You should really, really try it. But that was my story. That's why I started. EHT is my passion. I wish everybody could take it. I think everybody should take it. So I think that's it for today. Okay, bye.